think Matt is coming soon, but do we want to maybe go ahead and kick off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You're gonna do it?
Oh, yeah.
Is everybody ready?
Welcome.
I think so.
Okay.
If they're not, we'll find out.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Semi-Perfect Podcast here on this January 24th, 2018 evening. Thank you for joining us, to all of our live audience and to those watching on delay. I'm ACRacebest, and I am joined here with Toodles.
Hello.
Laura.
Hey.
Saber.
Hello.
Hirosashii.
Hello, people.
Paleo. Paleo.
He'll be right back, he said.
Oh my God.
Clacking.
And here at the beginning of the podcast, Black Griffin.
What's good?
So, I know we have a lineup of topics that we're going to go over on this podcast, but as we usually do, we're going to start off with some food posts, Sarah.
Yes.
We're all blushing in that picture because we all love each other.
Also, just a reminder to everyone in the chat room, we are using hashtags now, and I'm going to go ahead. I've been posting it, but I will post again that SPP Foods. The hashtag. I can't talk today. Okay. Yes. So it's hashtag SPP Foods. All right. You got it pulled up, babe?
One day that's going to trend.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, first we got Ross Pitt with, this is going to be a crabby dinner. Got myself a cup of milk, not bad, with some goldfish with ketchup on it. I hate myself. Okay.
I'm glad that there's a clarification that the milk is not bad.
Yes. I'm glad that the milk is not sour, because then you would be very sick. Probably even more sick than those goldfish will get you.
Unless it's so sour it's cheese.
Wait, so who here eats goldfish with ketchup?
Well,
Ew.
I think he was trying to
Not
make
I.
a joke. Like,
I put goldfish in a lot of stuff, though. Ramen, it's really good in ramen.
interesting.
But ketchup
Didn't
on...
you mix it with, wasn't it Cheez-Its with V8?
Yes, dude. That's like lunch cereal. You can pour yourself a bowl of Cheez-Its and put V8 on it. So good.
Gabe visited, and we got Cheez-Its, and I saw him do it, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, so
What
good.
are you?
Life-changing.
It's like life. Savory life.
Savory life.
Life cereal.
That's what I heard.
It's really great.
Here we go. Reckless is eating popcorn and drinking a drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I had
The
popcorn last
classic.
night. I had a lot of popcorn last night.
Did you realize that you skipped over a couple? Okay.
Well,
we
now,
got...
now that I'm telling you now, I see Ross
Oh, wait.
Pitt,
Okay.
and then
I
see
didn't do
Reckless.
by latest. Okay, sorry. That was my bad. Shit.
Oh, neither did I.
Okay.
Wait,
no,
I'm
wait.
on top.
Okay, so after Ross Pitt is Hirosashii with hot dog, and it's got like chips and a hot dog that looks like it's got a lot of jank on it. It's got pickles and cheese and probably some sort of like bacon or chili sauce or something like that. Looks good.
Almost real good, except those pickles, man. Just, who eats pickles on a hot dog? Like, it's like ketchup on
A hot
fish
dog.
crackers.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
PanamaMatt in the house. Rosie
Our resident lawyer.
is stress eating a sad creamsicle.
And worrying
Uh-oh,
about
we're
how
supposed
she's
to
gonna
ask her
pay for
what's wrong.
college. Aw.
Yeah, I wanted to read the rest to make sure I was supposed to read that out loud. Yeah. Rosie, don't worry about it. Everything has a way of doing something.
Everything has a way.
Of doing.
Very wise words.
That's my motivational speech for the night.
Way to go, Jeff Goldblum. Way to go.
Life.
But no, you'll get through it. Enjoy the creamsicle while it lasts. Those are
You
good.
have creamsicle though. I mean, that's a real good start to like the moment. So, yeah.
What I do when I'm stressed out is I fold clothes.
Well,
If you want to come over here,
you pronounced
just
the,
at
like,
any time.
you pronounced the T and the H in that word. Wow.
Yeah, clothes.
Wait, you
Otherwise,
I
it
just-
sounds like clothes.
Yeah, I
Do
just
you,
say
like-
it like I'm closing a door.
do you unfold
Close
the
the door.
clothes? Do you unfold them and then refold them?
Oh, I never fold them, ever, unless I'm stressed. So there's always clothes to fold.
I was like, what you literally just said you fold. Okay.
No, typically I don't fold them, but if I'm stressed, what it does is it puts me in a working like state of mind, and when I'm working, I don't stress as much because I'm focused on a task. That always
What-
helps.
So what do you do with your laundry normally when it's done?
Normally,
If
I
you
throw it
don't
in the
fold
closet.
them, and
I mean, do you like hang it on hangers or just sit in a pile till it's
I
ready?
do have a lot of clothes on hangers. The problem is that I'm running out of hangers and
Mhm.
space in the
As
closet.
YouTuber budget can't even afford hangers, and I'm bro, I'm in the same boat.
all right, we got Nora Mermaid with her snack is a half-eaten bag of chips. Too lazy.
Who ate half of them?
She probably ate
I
half.
have a question for you. I was wondering this today. How many of you guys make your bed every day?
Me.
I tried to for a while, and I got pretty good at it for a while, and then I gave up at some point. But I want to pick it back up.
I tear that stuff up, man. So I don't.
He
I just.
he fucks up the bed real bad. So some days I'm just like, why do I even try?
What does he do to the bed that makes it that like unsavable?
I don't know. It just like he.
Tornado?
Yeah.
There's
I have a
stuff-
weird
We-
relationship with my bed. I do.
Our bed is small, like it's a double, so we have to fight over like the blankets and stuff. So
You're telling me that all that money that could have gone towards a nice king size bed, Ray spent on Judy plush hops?
Yes.
Well spent.
Make him sleep on the plushes. You can get the bed.
He would. He would.
I'll need more.
no, he'll need a whole separate set of plushes for him to sleep on.
I do. Yeah, I would.
Not to keep using the collectible ones.
And he'd be fine with that too.
Yeah. No. I'm,
Well,
yeah.
there's an interesting. I don't know if this is where you were going with this, Saberspark, but there's an interesting thing that says the majority of millionaires make their bed every morning, and it's because it puts you in the mindset of a work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
I do it.
But I
See,
still
I-
don't do it.
Dumb.
Work ethic. That's who needs that.
Yeah.
I just think of it as being efficient because it's ready for me to go when I get back in the evening, and I can just climb in and go to sleep.
But no,
You
but
can
then, but
do
it actually
that.
takes more effort when the bed is made. I leave it peeled open like a letter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like right when I got up, that's how it stays, and then it's ready for me when I come back.
precisely.
Yeah, I'm not a. I'm
This is
not
why
a
neither
big,
of us are millionaires.
Yeah. Hey, speak
Not
for
a-
yourself.
I don't like making the bed. I don't like cleaning rooms. Whenever I clean my room, I would always lose stuff. Always. Like I always know where things are when. My
And now
room
I
is a
clean
mess.
the rooms, and then I lose stuff of
Aw.
his, and
Now
I'm like,
Now it's
why don't you just put it somewhere where you won't lose it?
sometimes I can't find. Sometimes I can't find the apartment, guys. It's that bad.
This is why I enjoy that we have a quote from season 2. Like, it's not a mess, it's organized chaos. I was like, that's so real, though. Like, it's so real.
Yeah.
Very. Let's see.
We got Toga Pikachu with.
Now I have to start from scratch.
They say, I mean, it's not really food, but I've got some homework and lemonade. Eat the homework, and then you can blame it on your dog.
What kind of homework?
actually not
I don't
that
know. It looks like some kind of math, maybe.
Ooh.
Oh wait,
Wow.
Oh,
no, I
yeah,
see
you
a
like
periodic
math.
table, so it might be like
Did you say
chemistry.
senpai math?
What? I said, oh, that's right, you like math.
Senpai math.
I'm by, you know.
No, it might be some sort of chemistry, because I see a
Andrea
periodic
Redmond
table
loves
on there.
math, so if you want to have a talking point with her,
They-
talk about math.
Yeah, there's a periodic table there. It might be
Yeah.
chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
He's
those
just a
redox reactions going.
civil.
I hated chemistry.
Chemistry destroyed my G. No, actually, that was physics. Physics like blew up
What?
my
I
GPA.
love physics.
Sorry.
Physics I liked, but there were some chemistry ones that just destroyed me,
I didn't
and it
say I
was
didn't
mostly
like
the
physics.
teacher. Let's see.
I hated math that I couldn't apply directly because it didn't feel like solving anything. To me, it just felt like doing something to numbers to get other numbers, but it wasn't.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You mean like linear algebra?
Discrete
Yes.
math, my
Don't
boy.
talk me out of
Hated
your
it.
algebra.
No,
Linear algebra is the
hated
dumbest thing.
But I
It's-
love
it's-
geometry.
Mhm.
And physics
Why-
and pretty much all the sciences.
Who thought it was a good idea where they're like, guys, what if we had math that was just all theory? Brilliant.
Well, I mean,
Brilliant.
technically, math is all theory, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't exist. However, it has rules. It's the one infallible thing, the non-relative thing in our universe that nobody can argue. Everybody,
Except you
has
can.
to agree that 2 + 2 is 4, and it's the same in every culture, and it's the same everywhere in this universe. I think it's amazing that there's an abstract universe with absolute rules that cannot be stretched, that is understandable and accessible by all, but also invisible and infinite.
Yes.
Nerd. So Railroad Bros. It has lemonade and a fresh raisin cookie.
This dude
Train.
just has lemonade like at the ready.
Mhm,
like,
yeah.
Is he watching the stream on the phone while it's on the train? Is it just
I
gonna go
think-
around?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think that wraps up the food post.
Oh, wait. Oh yeah, you already said Reckless's stuff. Okay.
Yes, I did. The popcorn. I had a lot of that last night. Right before we started the show, you guys were talking about a movie, and I wanna touch on this. So, Gabe, you were saying for the Greatest Showman that your issue with the movie, or at least its music, is that what?
Okay, without giving any spoilers, the issue I had with it is that while I loved the story, I loved the acting, I loved the cinematography, there were lots of things that I liked about it.
Mhm.
And when I like something about movie, I typically get more picky. What I didn't like is that the music was good. It was a little cliche, but that wasn't the issue that I had. The issue was that it was excessively tuned. There was an excessive amount of reverb. It sounded like pop singers trying to do Broadway. And Hugh Jackman is from Broadway. So the fact that they made him sound like Sam Smith bugged me. Like, he was obviously clearly tuned. You can definitely hear when Melodyne is applied to vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And same with the little boy who played him. It just...
Oh, there's a
that-
lot with the kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Other thing that bothered me was the obvious dubbing of the music. I mean, there
Yes.
is a scene where someone is flying through the air, slams into Zac Efron, and they go rolling across the ground while he's holding this perfect note. Oh, and
You should try it, Gabe. You should try that exact thing.
You should.
what I plan to do is when the movie comes out, I plan to rip all the scenes where it's obvious that their voice wouldn't sound like that and re-record what it would actually sound like.
That would be brilliant for like any musical. You should actually do that. The reason I brought this up was because it cracked me up because I've seen other musical movies or movies that are musicals that it actually bugged me that it almost went too Broadway
Really?
for me. Yeah, like
Bobbles.
Liz Mibber babbled. Yeah,
That's my
like
favorite musical.
but like, is it your? What's going on in the chat right now?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
A
So
lot.
I know that our audience doesn't know what I'm referring to, but we're doing this in a Discord chat, and like people are literally like going everywhere. Sit still. Sit. Stop. I'm just wondering if Discord's going nuts or if it's everyone here.
Oh,
Anyways,
there we go.
what happened?
Every
Pedro?
night
I don't know.
I
It kept saying I had no route to the server, and now I was able to get in.
Okay.
And then briefly, I couldn't hear anything at all.
Weird.
I'm back.
Okay. So Discord was having a moment
Hero, you
there.
there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, no, the only reason I mentioned that is because I feel like for me, if I want to see a musical, I'll go see a Broadway musical on stage.
Oh, I disagree.
Versus, That's okay.
Obviously it's opinion, but like for me, like I don't always get the chance to go see like a play musical,
Mhm.
and sometimes having a movie that's like, close to that feel is like really satisfying.
Mhm.
I agree. If it's a musical, I think it should stick with the Broadway format.
Meh.
I mean, both
I
work. I'm not saying that like one
here's the question, Jeff.
necessarily.
How did you like Les Miserables?
Les Miserables
I-
is my favorite musical.
I
Yes, me
found
too.
it
It was
forgettable,
wonderful.
and I don't remember anything from it.
I'm sad at you.
Well, I think it seems that ACRacebest is not a fan of Broadway stuff.
It was real. That's the thing. That's the thing that I liked about Le Bubbles. It was real. It was they were actually singing live. There was no dubbing, and there was
crazy.
minimal tuning,
Mhm.
and it felt real.
And it was shot a kid.
They did.
It did.
In real life.
No,
Yeah.
no,
It was real.
Yeah,
It actually shot him,
we
Well,
actually
well,
see-
and his parents got the life
really
insurance,
realistic.
and they cried into their expensive handkerchiefs.
So does
I,
that mean, if I may, does that mean that you guys enjoy more so that type of movie as opposed to a Disney musical?
I like
Well, a
both.
Disney
for their
musical is
different-
typically animated anyway.
Yeah.
Right. That's my point, Gabe. Is that it's not.
Well, but I don't think they fall into the same category. Like, I like Disney musicals, but even then, Disney musicals still sound more Broadway than this movie did. This movie sounded more pop.
I think that's what they're going for, though. I think they're trying to like go off like the Hamilton hype and be like, oh, let's do like this super modern music with like a musical, and
Right.
people will love it.
But
Yeah,
it's an
but-
old-fashioned story, and it's a true
Exactly.
story, based on a true story, with an actual opera singer in it who sang like freaking Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
So then, what's your opinion of things like Jersey Boys?
I love
Oh,
Jersey
Jersey
Boys.
Boys. Have I seen Jersey Boys?
Here, here, well spoke hero.
Eh.
I mean, it's
I-
not
to
my favorite
the-
musical, but I still
if-
love it.
The best musical I've ever seen is Zootopia. So
Stop.
God damn it.
Stop.
It only has like
It's
one
not.
song.
It's not.
I think you just hurt Laura.
But
I'm
like,
just dying. It's fine.
if you've ever seen Wicked like live,
Oh,
oh my
I have,
god,
I have.
God,
Yeah.
and
it's
I enjoyed
so
it.
Wicked
But I
is
enjoyed it because
amazing.
it was live. That's why I enjoyed
Mhm.
it as a
Right,
play.
right.
Like
I
I've seen
love
Wicked, I've
Wicked.
seen The Lion King, like I've seen these plays, these musicals in person, and to me, I'm just saying that for me personally, I enjoy seeing that kind of musical as a play, as in person stage.
Yeah.
To me, it makes more sense.
I
Otherwise,
agree
I feel
with that actually. I know like the other two don't quite agree, but I do agree. Like I love the live bit of it.
Mhm.
It brings it to life for me personally. I mean, I've watched musicals on my TV before, but it doesn't have the same like breath of fresh air. I don't know what
Yeah, I
word to
agree.
use.
It's just like.
Okay, well then how did people feel about Beauty and the Beast?
In what form?
Emma Watson was not the right choice for like like
I
she
agree,
looks the
thank
part
you.
but she doesn't sing the part.
And I did not like the additional music either. And it just
Yeah.
it
I like
felt,
the new songs.
I felt the same way about Beauty and the Showman in terms of what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
I liked The Greatest Showman better as a movie,
Oh,
but
definitely.
the parts I didn't like were the same thing. The too much tuning, too much pop sound.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's funny because I enjoyed, I think, the pop-ishness of the movie, but I think it's just because it has more of an earworm effect. And to me,
Oh,
I'm
it is.
like,
It's modern. It's old-fashioned High School Musical.
Mhm.
That's why Troy Bolton was
with
in
Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Whoa.
it. But I do kind of like that like juxtaposition between like the style of music and the story. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I can see where you're coming from, like the audio editing, because that was a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, that is mostly what I took issue with, and that's when I say pop sound. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I liked the music.
So I'm gonna say one more thing in regards to this movie, specifically with Zac Efron being in it. I was talking to Sarah about this last night because we saw it last night, and I was laughing about like how when I forget what year in high school, but when I was in high school, High School Musical came out, and it was actually one of those movies where you'd think a lot of high schoolers would reject, but for some reason my group of friends was like, "Oh yeah, status quo, man." Yeah.
It's because it's great. That's why. But
Yeah, it was actually like good. And so it was funny because I feel like Zac Efron went from his like innocence of childhood of high school, and then all of a sudden we see this progression of him like go through college. Almost where it's like all the frat movies where he's like, dude, I'm drunk, I'm high, and so much stuff's happening, and all of a sudden he ends up back in a musical, and it's like
it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it really is. I was like, wow, it's like he's grown up. Oh,
I'm so proud.
He's handsome. Holy heck.
Yeah.
He is very handsome.
Indeed.
You are.
Hell yeah. So,
Grace and I also saw Paddington 2 yesterday.
Oh.
It was really cute.
I want to bring this up. So for Paddington 2, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Paleo, you saw the movie. I forget. Did you do a review on it?
I haven't done a review of it.
Now, I remember when you saw it, you were telling me, and it's something that resonated. I was like, this is hilarious and a really funny way to put it. And I wonder if most critics have this issue. You were saying, I don't know if you remember, but why you wouldn't want to give this movie a bad review?
Yeah, because it's way too sweet and innocent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to criticize it.
I remember the night we were talking, you said this particular line. You're like, I don't want to hurt Paddington's feelings.
Yeah.
Aww.
It was really
That's
cute.
about the first one. It's like this little bear is adorable.
It's just so funny. I wonder if all critics had that issue. They're
And
like,
he's so kind and polite.
It very much
Like he said, it has this saying in the movie. It says, "If you're kind and polite, the world will be right," or whatever.
yeah, it will turn out right. If you're kind
All
and
the
polite,
critics are
the
loud.
world will
That
turn
is
out
such
right.
a British movie.
That is.
Yeah, it
really
totally
is.
is.
And then he's the disaster artist.
But
I
yeah,
love
it's
the
really
gripping
cute.
silence.
Me and Race enjoyed it a lot, and it kind of like,
yeah.
in a way, it kind of reminded me of Wander Over Yonder. And like Paddington and Wander are very, very similar in the fact like their policies on being nice. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
Isn't Wander Over Yonder played by Kenneth?
yes,
Yes.
Jack McBrayer.
Fix it, Felix.
Jack McBrayer. Well, I declare.
Honey glue in my cheeks.
Okay.
Sarah's
So
just waiting for Saber to do his impression right now, aren't you?
I'm Jack McBrayer.
He's making sure Lammy's okay because Lammy's getting all excited.
Probably
This is
about
my cat
Jack
messing with him.
McBrayer. Oh man, cats.
So we got a few topics that we could cover tonight, and probably the big one is Oscars, since all the noms are in. Also, EQD Equestria Daily is celebrating 7 years.
What?
Wow!
What's happening?
It is you.
Congratulations, Equestria Daily.
Time needs to slow down. I keep thinking of that song "Stop This Train" from John Mayer. It's so sad, but accurate.
Yeah.
Is it about?
It's about getting older.
I love
Stop
that
this
big train.
train.
That's fine
I
too.
wanna get off and go home again. It's really pretty.
It's I'm curious for you guys because a lot of us have had some form of an interaction with Equestria Daily, whether it's content being posted or just looking stuff up. When did you guys first find out about Equestria Daily?
Back in like 2011.
Yeah, 2011, like after I got into the show.
Oh,
So you guys found it pretty close. I didn't know that Equestria Daily existed until after one of my videos got posted on there, and a friend of mine was like, "Dude, congrats! Equestria Daily posts. That's real awesome." And I'm like,
They posted
"Yeah." I'm
my-
like,
the Bernie video, and I uploaded another video to my channel to celebrate it. And a clip. It was Cusco going, "I'm so happy," and I titled the video "When I Discover That My Video's on EQD." So, because back in the day, it was a big deal. Like, it was a good springboard for you to get your content noticed.
Yeah. You know, when websites matter.
Yeah. Not just 5 now.
It was a springboard for me. I know, like some of my early videos, before Bronies React, I made, I think it was a couple PMVs, but they got posted and like, whoa, 10,000 hits was a really big deal, and you know, yeah, and I was like, wow, cool. And I know that a lot of us have actually met the guys, interacted with them, and whatnot. So they're always a fun group to see at conventions. You picked literally?
Yeah, Sethisto.
Yeah, he is little. You picked him up.
Sethisto.
It sounds like stethoscope.
You know, so something I've always wondered, and this is probably gonna sound tacky, and I'm not gonna like pry or anything, but I'm just curious, like, because I can judge how much usually a person makes on YouTube because I've done it before, and I can kind of just take a guess at the numbers. But I do wonder how much money that they made from Equestria Daily, especially major hype.
Well, the interesting thing is the algorithm that's used for calculating views, right? YouTube will only count 2 views from an IP address, but you can make a lot more money than that from 2 views, because if someone watches your video multiple times, you still get paid per ad. I think though that Equestria Daily uses associate or affiliate marketing. I don't remember what it's called specifically, where they partner with certain companies.
Yeah.
So I would say that judging by the views, it looks like it would be more than you'd expect, but they're counting every site view every time someone checks it out, which means they've counted probably close to 100 for me, you know, whereas YouTube will only count 2.
Yeah.
So the numbers appear much higher than they probably would had the algorithm been the same.
Yeah,
so I would result in more money.
They're getting close to 1 billion page views.
Yeah, I know.
That's good. I mean, I'd imagine that Seth has made a pretty penny from all this.
I would hope so. I mean, he's put a lot of work into it.
He's like, wait a second, I could have monetized this.
I know we've kind of already slipped into topics and whatnot, but I forgot to ask if there were any stories from your guys' last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. I
Laura had her
guess.
birthday.
Huh? What?
Laura had her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Laura!
Thank
You are 20 yet?
I'm 25.
Oh, I have another friend who just turned 25, so you're that age. That's an age people can be, I guess. I don't know why I'm saying it like that.
You're one of
I remember
those.
being 25. I think I went straight from 24 to 26.
I feel old now.
Yeah, you're like, what, 47, dude?
Yeah, I'm 27, yeah.
You're only 47? I thought you were like 52?
Yeah, thanks.
No, we're talking about Matt.
Yeah, I don't know who we're talking about anymore.
Yeah, we're being mean to Matt, not you, Gabe. Wait your turn.
Fine.
But yeah. Well, happy birthday, Laura.
Happy birthday!
What did you do anything special for your birthday?
We went out to dinner with a few of my friends, and then we played some Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. And then what?
Huh?
No, nothing. I don't know.
Oh, I thought. Did anyone else have any exciting moments over the last 2 weeks?
It
Well,
snowed a lot here.
I went to
It's so hot
Texas
here.
and Oklahoma because my friend got married.
Nice.
So yeah, I went to her bridal party and then went to her wedding.
You went to Tejas.
Yeah.
Sarah has a very interesting. Her group of friends really did this nicely because her friend Taylor's like, all right, I'm gonna get married at the beginning of 2018, and then her next friend's like, cool, well then I'll get married in the middle of the year. To which Sarah's like, all right, that makes sense because I'm gonna get married at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a very busy wedding year for your group of friends.
Wait for the planned pregnancies.
Oh, well.
My buddy, he had his wife and her two sisters. They had planned pregnancies. All the kids are in like the same time, and I was like, "Dang, that's a thing."
Yeah, I don't think my group of friends is gonna do that. I'm not sure. Like, I know for sure that Taylor wants to have kids, but they're gonna like wait for a while. But yeah.
What about your other friends? Are they gonna have kids?
Probably Brittany will. I don't know when, and Blair, she's just starting a relationship with someone new, so I think she's a long ways off from getting married.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, some of us won't have kids, but if you were gonna have kids, what would you name them?
Who are you referring to that's not planning on having any children?
Me.
Besides you.
I do not intend to get pregnant.
Raise those children.
No, but real talk, like, are there any names that you guys are like, I'd like that name for my kid or something?
Spunky.
That's a good one.
You better have a kid, Gabe.
I've been fond of the name Robin, and that's like both a boy and a girl name.
Yeah.
Oh, are you gonna name them both Robin?
No, I don't plan to have two. If I even have one.
What if it happens, like Luke and Leia?
Oh my god.
Is it Oido? Robin! Is it Earlgo? Robin!
It's gonna get a little confusing though, because I have first cousin who's named Robin. And that's
They can't change their name.
The corner phrase, my friend, rob the poor to feed the rich.
Oh my gosh, that's why Sarah wants to name Robin, because he's a descendant of Nick Wilde.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
That's my favorite villain. Alright, I'm sorry. So going
Favorite
back
villain
to
is the Republican Party.
Prince John? yeah, you're right.
I know.
Give me a moment.
I really like the name Samantha. I don't think I would name my child it, but like I do really like that name.
Yeah.
That's my sister's name.
Oh, I'll tell your sister she has or I guess tell your parents they gave your sister a nice name.
I like Milo is a cool name, but that's because of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say
Milo and Otis. Otis! I want an Otis.
Oh no.
Oats.
That's my uncle's name.
See? There you
No,
go.
Chip, you'd name your kids Nick and Judy. You would.
I can't you say your kids.
You'd try. And I'd be like,
Well,
no.
okay. So I wasn't gonna say anything, but I saw this.
Okay, wait.
Your daughter Judy Race?
No.
Okay, if you get the opportunity to name, if I give you the opportunity to name your daughter Judy, then we will be naming our son Felix, because I feel like that would be an equal share. But I still don't plan on having two kids, let alone one.
You know,
I love how Sarah's like laid down the like road here. She's like, all right, well, if we're doing that, then we're gonna have a boy named Felix. Damn it.
You guys are weird. So
I mean, you say that like it's a bad thing. I know someone whose kids are named after two cards in Magic.
That's really funny.
What are the names?
War Monster and the Red Dragon.
Ace of Spades.
My son's name is
Nightmare.
White Dragon, so you know.
What are their
My
names?
daughter's name is Victoria.
Name a kid after a character in World of Warcraft. This is Thrall.
Sylvanas. Oh. I hope Sylvanas becomes a name for little girls. That would be outstanding.
Sylvanas.
Deathwing, clean your room.
It's funny because I saw this thing. Disney posted something, I think today, where it was like,
You cut out, babe. He's still
Your names
talking.
from movies.
Hey,
Where it was like,
babe, you cut out real bad. Like, I was hearing you in the living room talking up a storm, and nothing was coming through.
You know how bad it felt? It made me feel when I all of a sudden, as I'm in the middle of like saying this long sentence, Sarah goes, "He's still talking." as if we're listening. Shut up. But no, I was gonna say this. There was this post that Disney did where it was like all these Disney names, and they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna name your children with these Disney names?" And you know, it's literally them just taking character names. But I did see someone say they were gonna name, if they had a son and daughter, they were gonna name them Judy and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, man, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of weird if you're like a big
Not if
shipping
you live in
of that.
Alabama.
Okay.
Thanks for that update.
So what you're saying is Judy and Nick are related. That's why they look so alike.
Yeah. What?
Stop.
They have the same
Species.
they came from the same blob. 15 million
Okay, I
years
gotta
ago.
admit something. I had a theory. So when we did the Bronies React to Perfect Pair, I had one of my like theory moments, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this makes a lot of sense. I started to theorize that Granny, who we never see who Granny had a kid with, and the dude, the what's his face?
Grandpair.
Grandpair, we never see his like wife or anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense.
What?
They had children. They did each other and had children, and this like one kept one and one kept the other. Until it made me realize the consequence of that.
Theory there, Ray.
And that's why they didn't want him to get
That's
together.
why Applejack is so dumb sometimes.
You guys,
No.
you guys cannot
I have
get
5
married.
boobs.
Why can't we get married? I don't get it. No, you can't.
Stop.
No, and Sarah's the one who's
We already
sitting
had 2 kids.
Sarah was sitting here like, that's a bad theory. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
but
amazed.
That did...
No, like, also talking about, that episode, like, in relation to Bronies React, I am amazed at the amount of comments on the Bronies React that are, like, completely denying the fact that the parents are dead. I'm just like, really?
I thought you guys...
Oh my gosh. It was enough for me when Split the Oak Tree, Burning Bush, cried. Whatever his name was.
Burnt Oak or something like that? I don't know.
I saw a lot of people in the reacts, including you, Gabe, brought up like how you were kind of like in opposition to those who were saying, "Oh no, you know, they're still alive. They didn't say they're dead." But I didn't realize how much that was a thing until I posted this video, and people were still like, "No, that's not."
They just live far away because they're still not able, like, welcome to their families.
plan.
I don't know.
And there's some people that are like, well, maybe they are still alive, but everyone thinks they're dead. I'm like, well, that's kind of the same thing as them being dead to the audience.
I mean, like,
Someone says Burnt Oak Library.
Oh no, not the library.
Who was that character that they went to talk to? And he was like a super cool dude.
Burnt Oak.
He was shopping
Burnt
with.
Oak?
That's his name? Yeah, that's
I
his
think
name.
that's
Okay.
his name, yeah.
Yeah. I love that character. He's just,
No,
he's
he's
just
like
a guy.
Lumberjack.
Yeah.
He's so freaking cool.
yeah.
It was,
He was such a manly pony.
It was not Burnt Oak. It was
All right.
hardwood.
I'm gonna
Ham
Google it.
sandwich.
It was hardwood.
No, it was not, you dingus.
Burning Bush, Hardwood.
Big Schlong.
He had a child named Morningwood.
Yeah, it's Burnt Oak. I just
Yeah,
Googled
that's
it.
Daughter
It's
Pecker.
definitely Burnt Oak.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, but like, there's a lot of people that are like really adamant about the fact that like both of them are alive and they live off of the farm because they're still not welcomed by their families, and like they just drop off their kids at the farm. What?
That's so no.
Yeah, this is dumb.
At the end of the video, at the end of that episode, they would have been brought back.
Yeah.
And their trees grew together with a heart in it.
Wasn't that episode where like they were talking about their parents and 2 shooting stars were in the sky?
Yeah.
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 They
I
did.
forgot what episode it was.
They are deceased.
No, they're space travelers.
Oh, shit.
Well, okay, but wasn't because in the episode, isn't it very clear that Granny Smith suddenly like becomes supportive of them?
Yeah,
Kinda,
once she's like pledging her allegiance to the Apple family, she's like, "Oh, okay, we're cool."
Right. She's like, well, I'm disowning my family, or they're disowning me, and she's like, okay, well then you could be here now. And that's why it doesn't make sense when everyone's like, no, they said they had to leave. It's like, I'm pretty sure Granny Smith was like, you could just hang out in the barn, do whatever it is.
Remember where I put the key to that pit I threw him in.
Yeah, and it's kind of like implied when they go see like the old granny that has all the cats. Like they lived together like on the farm for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just people
what?
making kids.
Making apple bloom.
The whole time they're just trying to create this specimen called the apple bloom.
We succeeded. She's gonna go on to be a singer, sort of.
She's gonna. I don't know. That the cutie mark still like bother me a little bit.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, remember how Apple Bloom was really good at like chemistry or potion
carpentry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was good at carpentry.
Yeah, she was great.
That was
Good
the
at like.
first thing that they implied that in like the first episode where
She's like Jack, you know?
Yeah.
They can't quite figure out what to do, so just give her all the power!
I have to say, I think I was disappointed, or if I wasn't, I don't know. It just seems weird to me that they basically have the same cutie mark for the 3 of them.
Right.
yeah,
I'm like, oh,
honestly feels kind of like a cop out.
they could have
I
had
would have been
3
fine with their
episodes.
cutie marks connected, but I feel like they could have done it a little bit differently than they did. Like I didn't feel the cohesion. I liked the shield idea, but the colors didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But oh well, I've gotten used to it.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most people hopefully have at this point, or they just.
Are people still mad? It's like, boy, what are you doing?
Vital's eyes are red.
But
That was a big ordeal, wasn't it? I was like, what do you want? Like that's the way they wanted it.
Yeah.
if you make a big ordeal out of a show, any show,
Yeah.
dot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Steven Universe.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. Some fandoms, some people in the fandom is what I shouldn't have said. In the first place. But yeah.
Every fandom's
Yeah.
got people taking
Yeah.
it seriously.
Yeah.
But you know, there's I guess nothing wrong with it as long as you're not shooting up a building because you're mad about the cutie marks. Apple Bloom's cutie marks showed up in a potion bottle.
I don't know. Is anyone in like the Pokemon fandom like really mad at the show ever?
I
It's
don't
been
know.
going on forever.
They're just like, dude, do whatever. Like,
I mean, some people were complaining about like the art style in the newest one, but
oh, really? I actually think it's really nice looking.
Yeah.
The new
Like, finally, they changed it a
evolution with
bit.
the bows,
Yeah.
skin bows. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sylveon.
Yeah, that one.
I think it's cute.
It's kind of weird when you read the description of what they really are, but it's
Yeah.
still cute looking. So.
Yeah.
Just don't think about it.
So,
Don't think about it. Don't touch it.
Sarah,
Yeah.
besides, because I think the Oscar talk will take up a bit of time, but was there another topic that we were talking about?
Talking about
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone here knows about it. But like, there was a recent ad from Party City that got a bit of controversy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's
I
talk
heard
about
you
this.
talk about it, but I didn't actually see it.
So this
Yeah, I
is
was trying
funny.
to find it on YouTube, but it's not anywhere.
It's not often that I see Sarah get riled up over this kind of thing, but she showed it to me, and I went, "Oh yeah, that's kind of ignoring
Some
something."
people.
Let me see if the link that my mom sent me is still good, so y'all
Yeah,
can see it.
I couldn't quite find it either.
So for those that haven't seen it, the Party City, put out, I think it's like a pre-Super Bowl ad.
It's been removed.
In regards to it, which I didn't even realize you could get food at Party City. That just occurred to me.
Let me go get some steaks down at the Party City.
Food and stuff.
But yeah, so Party City was like, oh yeah, we have this great layout of food, and it's these two women talking, and then they acknowledge this plate that's sitting off to the side, like on its own little pedestal, and it has these really lame looking crackers on it, and the lady's like, "What's that?" And the other one's like, "Well, that's for whoever."
That's the gluten-free option, and it's like this shitty little bowl of like crackers or whatever. I don't know what they were. They looked
like Eucharist.
They looked awful. I don't know if this link will work, but I posted that in the chat room. But yeah, like so, like it's two ladies. And like they point out, oh, that's the gluten-free option over there. This little shitty plate of dust. And then like one of the ladies was like, "Do we even know anybody who's like that?" And then the other girl is like, "Oh, like Debbie or some weird name." And Debbie. LaShawn, I don't know. And then, no, sorry, all right, Debbie. I'm sorry. No. Okay. And then the other girl in reply was like, "Oh, ew, yeah." And like, so a lot of people who have celiac disease like myself were like,
It's not a choice.
Yeah. What? Okay, it was very clear, I think, what they were trying to do.
They just did it bad.
They're trying to make fun of the whole, like, there's
people
a lot
who
of people
choose
these days
to eat gluten-free because it's like the trendy thing to do.
The video got removed.
Rather than it being an actual like health choice. But like it is a health choice, and sometimes it's not even a choice for people.
Yeah, so yeah, like what they if they had time to just put in like one more line, like it would have been something along the lines of, "Oh, she chooses to not eat gluten," or whatever, because
she's not even someone with celiac disease.
It'd be like doing the same thing with someone with like, because the fact of the matter is, someone with celiac disease who eats gluten over a period of time, it can and it can kill people.
Now people can get stomach cancer from it.
Yeah, so it's not like, haha. Because at first, like, Sarah acknowledged that the people she was hearing this from are often people that can be really oversensitive to these type of jokes, and Sarah's not one who will be like, "Oh my god, seriously?"
Like, like when I saw the email from my mom is very much a person that can take things a little too far, like in that sort of sense, like be easily kind of offended and all that stuff. And so when I saw this email and she's like, "Oh, this is a disgusting," and I was kind of rolling my eyes. I'm like, "Okay, Mom." And so I click it and I watch the the ad, and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, they actually kind of really fucked up." It wasn't good, and they got a lot of backlash and all that stuff. And
this could have been so much worse, though. Like,
yeah,
they could have been like, "Who's that plate of fried chicken and watermelon for?" I don't know. No one ever.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
And then someone shows up in this.
That's for LaShonda.
No. Don't bring that back.
No.
I did not mean for that to go full circle.
No, I didn't mean it in that way.
Thanks for coming out to the podcast tonight.
Wow, Sarah.
No.
All on you.
No.
Wow.
Why'd you do that? Why'd I do that? Oh.
Not only are you a gluten snob, but you're also a racist. Speaking of gluten snobs and racism,
those things go hand in hand.
No, I was gonna say, did y'all hear about the Burger King net neutrality commercial?
No.
I saw it briefly.
They actually did a pretty good commercial. It's like they use like the Whopper to like to demonstrate to customers how net neutrality is gonna work now. It's like wait a second, is Burger King more like with it than the actual government?
Yes.
Like they understand the nuances of net neutrality, and they're like, here, that'll be $40 for a burger. It'll take 5 minutes to make, or 10 minutes or whatever. And then they explain like net neutrality to the customers afterward. I thought it was pretty clever advertising.
Yeah, isn't it like hashtag Whopper neutrality?
I have no idea. Do any of you guys like Burger King?
No.
I do.
I used to eat it, but then I don't.
Truth be told, I just don't have one close enough to justify me going out of my way to eat it.
Yeah.
It's one of the closest restaurants to me, so yeah, I eat it.
Yeah, like if
it was like right across the street, probably we'd be eating it.
Yeah, because like we have one in town.
Matter of convenience.
Matter of principle.
Yeah, no, I mean, because I don't have an issue really with their food. That I can think of. I mean, I haven't eaten there in a while. So they had this one commercial because they had those like chicken sticks or whatever they were.
Yes.
And they made a NASCAR commercial where they modified racing helmets so the drivers could literally eat these chicken sticks during the race.
That's amazing. That's innovation at its finest.
It is like literally forget world hunger. We solved racing hunger. So we're halfway there, guys. Well, after that great topic, thank you, Sarah, for bringing that up. I know it went exactly. I guess to finish the point, the reason this is an issue for anyone that's like, well, kind of get over it. The bummer about the whole like trending thing with gluten-free eaters is that
They just
nowadays,
ruin it for people who actually have the fucking disease.
Yeah, because now whenever we go to a restaurant or whatnot, people will just ask like, is this because it's an allergy or like how serious do we have to take this gluten-free thing? Like because for Sarah, if food gets contaminated with gluten, so like if they make her food on the same counter they just made like a sandwich, that's gonna be a problem for her. She'll get sick. And yeah, so that's why it's like for the people that create or made it a trend, a diet, okay, this is how we're gonna eat regularly and I will demand my food be like this, not because I have to eat that way, but because I'm choosing to eat that way. It's kind of been more of a mocking type of thing now for people, like, oh, those people, gluten-free eating people.
Yeah, I really hate diet fads.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for those with celiac disease or gluten intolerance, it's now, it's something that they actually have to say, like, no, I actually cannot eat gluten.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually an allergy.
Yeah, it's too bad. I remember that happened when autism became the new ADHD.
Oh yeah.
What?
Okay, so in the 90s and early 2000s, everyone had ADD. Everyone was given Ritalin. Everyone, he's got ADD, And then that went away, and then everyone had Asperger's syndrome.
Yep.
And that was the thing. And it became such a common quote-unquote diagnosis from people who weren't even qualified, just like, oh, this guy's got autism, that they actually removed it. That Asperger's is no longer a thing. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh,
Yeah. They got rid of it because it was being...
Well, Gabe, you know what they say. If everyone has Asperger's, no one does.
No one does. Yeah, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. And when everyone has Asperger's, no one does.
Oh my god. That was beautiful. I love it.
There you go, Sarah. Now you don't have to worry about your joke from earlier.
I didn't even mean it. I don't.
Well,
I
what's
didn't
funny
even
is
mean it as a joke.
it wasn't your joke. Like
I just did a dumb thing.
you went from Debbie to LaShonda.
Oh, man.
Shut up. Like Mary would have been the next.
Go away.
Hey, jeez, Sarah.
So Sarah,
What?
should we talk about Oscars now?
Yes, you do the talk.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar Mayer
That's my
Wiener.
favorite Oscar.
Oscar. So, the Oscar nominees have been
Did you
announced.
just make a Star Versus joke?
Who, me?
Never mind.
He hasn't watched
You went
the
like-
show ever.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? You were like, Oscar. Like, exactly the way. Anyway, nothing. Don't worry about it.
So the nominees have been announced, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. I know there's multiple different categories, but I know that one that some of us have been discussing, maybe not together, but in our own ways, as usual, seems to be the topic for us. Ooh, animation, and what you guys are surprised about. Paley, I'm so sorry.
I'm not
That's
surprised
twice.
about anything.
I'm not surprised about one.
Not even a little bit.
Are you not surprised about Boss Baby making it?
No.
I'm actually a bit surprised that a certain movie didn't get nominated. And I thought it was an exquisite piece of film, the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, why didn't that get?
I agree. Where was it?
This is a travesty of filmmaking.
Where was the MLP movie, guys?
Honestly, it
Yeah.
should be there over some of these movies.
Yeah.
Real talk.
The thing is, like, with the animated movies, I know 2017 wasn't really a great year for mainstream releases, but yeah, the Oscars, like, certain years they don't really nominate a lot of mainstream releases. Like in 2014, there were some movies that were nominated on the Oscars that weren't very mainstream. Like Song of the Sea was one of those, and Song of the Sea is amazing. But yeah, the Lego Movie wasn't nominated that year, and that's what people were really upset about. And this year it's Lego Batman, which is a spinoff of the Lego Movie. But I think they just see it as an advertisement, when it's really a lot more than that. And then again,
Well, you know they didn't see it, so
do what?
you know that the people who were voting on it didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But then
Wow.
there's also movies that came out this year, like Your Name and A Silent Voice, anime movies, which sometimes anime movies are nominated, rarely win. The only time it's ever won was Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Which deserved it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So the thing is, with Your Name, I think it actually would have been qualified last year because that's when it technically came out.
Your name was weird because it came out right, like almost on top of where they have the cutoff.
Yeah.
So it didn't have. Yeah, it was. They should have just released it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because I remember paying close attention to that whole thing since with the Oscars last year. Obviously, it was one movie I was very interested in.
Which one was that?
I don't remember the name actually.
Yeah, but another thing is that
Zootopia?
they usually have a DreamWorks movie in there, but I don't know why they chose Boss Baby over Captain Underpants when Captain Underpants is like so much better and so much more unique.
Mm-hmm. Oscars.
Yeah, it's. I almost wonder if like they just kind of gave up trying. They're like, well, we're gonna give it to Coco, so I guess we'll see what else.
Yeah.
What else comes out? Whatever. No one will care. But yeah, it's been kind of an interesting thing to look at. Just some of the movies that didn't make it in. Now, in regards to the other categories, there's some that I see people talking about, and maybe for the wrong reasons. But one movie that I've seen people complaining, oh, it didn't get nominated for anything. What the heck? Was Wonder Woman.
Oh. I feel like superhero movies never really show up.
If this was important, there was a statement that needed to be said.
Well, I'm wondering. I feel like a lot of it is more about like oh, that's because it was made by a woman and it was a female lead. I don't know. I see people.
Finding Dory was a female lead.
No. That was led by that bird thing.
Which was a female.
Becky
Yeah, she
was a
was.
female.
I
Oh,
play a
duh.
female.
Becky.
I know what it's like to
Man,
play a woman.
Becky's not a female name. more like John.
Yeah, though to be fair, Logan was nominated for one thing. That's adapted screenplay.
It's amazing.
I didn't see it. I really want to.
I'm going to see it soon, but I don't know when. But yeah, no, I saw that movie mentioned. Also, I guess there's a thing going on now where I didn't really read up on it, but apparently James Franco is in trouble now, or allegedly in trouble.
Why?
There are harassment claims.
Of course. That's the new.
He apparently harassed Tommy Wiseau.
You know the bad thing is, like I said, I didn't read into it, but it seems like I think there were 3 women that came forward.
5.
And it's what?
5, apparently.
Is it 5?
I'm reading an article that says 5.
Okay, I just saw something. Maybe it was 3 that were interviewed, but I guess like one of them made a statement, kind of along the lines of like, well, at the time I wanted him to like me, so I did things, and now she's mad at him for it. So
that's why this entire stuff, like these kind of allegations, are hard to deal with because I don't know, it sucks.
The thing that's a bummer about it.
The person who's guilty.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
The person who's innocent. I meant to say.
Those poor people.
This is why I will never have sex.
Gabe, you can trust me, okay?
Somewhere Nora just actually exploded.
What do you mean? Nora's not interested in me like that.
No, well, did you guys hear about that gymnast guy who got thrown in jail like for like 100 and something years?
175 years.
When you said gymnast who got thrown in jail, I just imagined him doing some crazy flip right into the
he's a doctor.
He's like a doctor or whatever.
Yeah, he was a doctor for the team.
I watched the video of the judge throwing down the judgment, and it was epic. Like she was like,
"Yeah,
like, here's your death warrant, you nerd."
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The problem, the biggest problem with all of this right now, and it's a problem for both sides, the innocent and those accusing, is that today's society has way too much of a guilty until proven innocent, like trigger happiness, where they're like, oh, you know what, this person said this person did this, so
it must be true.
You said trigger. You must be pro-gun. You're a criminal.
I am, but where it's like this is
pro gun or a criminal.
In all these
Same
cases,
thing.
I'm always like, oh, I wish we could just wait until, you know, like the trial or whatever to determine is the person
We
guilty.
have a trial first.
Okay, Tom Kenny.
Because it's all like, it reminds me of, you know, back in the day when we were younger and everyone was being accused of being a communist. You remember those times?
Now
guys?
that we actually are communists.
You mean when we were fetuses? Actually, before we were fetuses.
You're older than I thought.
Wait,
Some of us
actually,
were around
quick
when
question. No, Gabe, can you do a SpongeBob voice?
Yes, sometimes.
Can you give me an example? I'm going somewhere with this.
Hi, Patrick. Hi.
I don't know.
Damn.
During our next phone call, remind me to bring that up. I want to ask you more about that.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
We're gonna collab, I think.
No, it's just a dirty phone call. It's fine.
All right, you the guy with this voice.
Hey, SpongeBob, what are you wearing?
Nothing.
Gabe can be. Gabe's a fun phone call, no matter when you talk to him. Because what time did we like? I was talking with Gabe last. What was it? Last week?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, and we were up to like what, like
Yeah, like
4?
3 a.m.
3:30ish. Yeah, and I'm like, I have work in like 4 hours. This is gonna be awesome. But
This is gonna be awesome.
Be awesome.
but yeah, was there in regards to the Oscars, anything else? I know, like Paleo, you're a movie buff and whatnot, but
Yeah,
anything
there's still a lot I need to see. So far, the only 2 out of the Best Picture nominees I've seen are Get Out and The Shape of Water.
Oh, I still have to see The Shape of Water. I'm so
I'm
excited.
in love with the shape of water.
My dad really wants to see it, so I'm probably gonna end up seeing it soon.
Do you want to see that one?
I do.
It's gonna be at the Lyric this weekend.
Dana says it's like the best film he's ever seen.
Oh, in that case, never mind. I'm not interested.
Yeah, for
StarCraft guy said it was the best.
but for
Very
Get
true.
Out, it's nominated for quite a few things. Because Jordan Peele is nominated for Best Director. Daniel Kaluuya for Best Actor, and then Best let's see what else is nominated for. Something else. Forgot.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's actually surprising to me. That it got
I thought everybody was like, anyway.
Original screenplay.
There we go.
That's cool though that they got so many nominations.
yeah, it's awesome.
Like isn't it like the most of the black director ever got or something like that? I remember reading online there it was like a new record for like African Americans or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yes,
Get Out's really,
you're
really good.
correct.
If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Great
'cause-
movie.
Yeah.
I've only seen on the Best Picture list. I've only seen Dunkirk.
Yeah, I still need to watch that.
I still need to watch that too.
I
And Darkest Hour.
I thought Hacksaw Ridge was better.
Did you?
Yes,
Oh.
I did.
Yeah, it came out in
They're
2016.
different though. Like
Well,
it's kind
okay,
of
the
like-
thing that bothered me about Dunkirk is that there were several inaccuracies to the actual story, and the fact that when he shot the Spitfire with a flare, it caught on fire, and there was no engine.
Oh,
And somehow he managed to fire his guns, which actually run off the timing belt of the engine while the engine was off.
That's a good trick, senor.
How did you know that? Maybe it was just a Prius and it was
I was
quiet.
kind of hoping that Tom
Oh, it
Hardy
was an
was
electric.
electric.
Well, hang on. Is it the
I
timing
know,
belt
send
the
it
guns
to
are
the
run
brain.
off of, or is that the interrupter that it's run off of?
Huh?
Are the guns run off the timing belt, or is it just the interrupter for the firing sequence that the timing belt controls?
Well, there's no interrupt. Okay, so on the Spitfire, the gun doesn't go through the prop, so it doesn't need to be. Oh wait, maybe I'm actually thinking of the Messerschmitt. Oh, now I'm gonna have to look it up. Thank you.
Yeah,
That was a
you
good
idiot.
idea.
And the
The
Oscar goes,
Messerschmitt.
Because any other way, I can't imagine why they'd be connected.
That's a good point. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, so take your inaccuracies and
All
shove
right,
them.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I still think.
But yeah,
Messerschmitt.
he still glided for like an hour and was doing dives, and then he could have landed on the beach with people, and instead he landed in enemy territory. I don't know. There were just several things that I was like, why?
Well, remember
Because the script said so.
Oh.
the timing of the whole thing too was something that you had to pay close attention to.
yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like about it. It was like the pacing and the
I had to-
timeline stuff.
I think it's one of those movies where, yeah, because I didn't know it was gonna do that. I mean, typically most people seeing it for the first time don't know it's gonna do that, so it threw me off at first. At first, I'm like, what the hell just happened? and then I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing.
I see
So,
what's happening here.
Yeah, yeah. I know sometimes movies like to do that where they're just like, we're not going to be very linear with our storytelling.
well, I was bummed out because they didn't show Hitler once. Like, where was he? I thought, where was his mecha?
Having a cocktail party.
Is that what he was doing, Gabe?
Yes.
It was springtime for Hitler.
And now it's. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I'm
So,
just. Yes.
Oh, I was gonna go on to some other thing.
Do it.
with the Oscars.
Do it.
But Baby Driver was one of my favorite movies of last year, and that's nominated for probably one of the best things it could be nominated for is pretty much all the editing awards, film editing, sound editing, and sound mixing. Because Baby Driver does some amazing things with sound design. So.
Do you think the Academy knows the difference between sound editing and sound mixing? And the only reason I ask that is literally the 5 movies that were nominated for sound
they were the
editing.
exact same ones.
I don't think they do.
I don't think the Academy really knows anything. That's my assumption, honestly.
It's interesting because I feel like the Oscars are gonna continue to almost become irrelevant in the sense that it seems like for a lot, like for example, we were talking about the movies that we've seen that's for Best Picture, and I don't think anyone here has seen more than 3 of them at this current time.
That's true.
Yeah, because a lot of them came out like during Oscar bait season.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I don't know.
So do you think the Oscars are just going to wane, or the awards are going to wane as a whole, or do you think a new award ceremony is going to come up to take their place?
I mean,
maybe
I don't think
just like the Academy just needs like a change of guard.
Yeah, they just they're the problem is they look at things not the way that the I guess average moviegoer looks at movies, which is okay. Yeah. Which like I don't think I'm not necessarily dogging on the Oscars as an award, but I do feel like sometimes it's hard for the audience that is supposed to be watching the Oscars to connect to their line of thinking. So they're like, oh, that's good. Like, I don't know. I can't think of a good example, but sometimes there's movies that even win the Oscars that people are like, was that just because of this as opposed to that? And then when the Oscars are like, we're going to get super political, and then it's like, okay,
yeah,
cool. Fun.
Well, it's their show and they can run how they want to.
I hate it when award shows get political. I'm like, can we just announce the awards, please?
No, apparently we can't.
Yeah.
The Annies got really political last year, and I was like, ugh.
The Annies got political?
Oh my god, yes. It was awful.
Wait, did I miss them this year?
What was their topic?
They haven't happened this year yet. They happened in February, I believe.
Oh, wait, so are you talking about the Annies for the last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, for movies
for
from 2016. Yes.
Yeah.
But it happened in February 2017.
Yeah. No,
It's where like a good 4th of those people brought up Donald Trump. I was like, stop!
It's hard to watch anything with Hollywood without people bringing up anything.
Just announce the award, please.
So
I'm glad to have won this thing for best sound design. Let me tell you my current political views.
Right.
Well, I mean, if Hollywood didn't weigh in on political views, how would people get their own political views?
That's
right.
From the news media, silly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I have a couple more things I want to mention.
Okay.
For visual effects, one movie that I really hope gets it, because it's been nominated a couple. This series has been nominated a couple times, and this is the 3rd time this series has been nominated, and it's War for the Planet of the Apes. Like,
yes,
the visual effects in that movie are amazing.
Yeah,
like the apes look so real.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I think that's like one of the few categories actually that I can look at and be like, okay, cool, I've seen all these movies. So
okay, Matt, I have your answer.
Do tell.
Okay, the Spitfire used the Browning 303 machine gun, which was fired pneumatically, so the engine did prime it, but if there was enough pressure left over, even when the engine was off, they could fire a little.
And that's only is the pneumatic for recirculating it, or once it gets going, is the recoil enough to keep it?
I would think that a 303 would be gas impingent. It would probably be gas operated, kind of like a M4 or minigun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna have to read more about it.
What?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience. World War II.
Oh. Okay.
We return you to your previously scheduled Oscar conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, original song, "Remember Me" from Coco.
Yes.
I liked Coco.
Yeah, and "Remember Me" is a really, really great song.
It is
sad as crap.
Hey, Gabe.
Which version of "Remember Me" though? Is the question.
All
Yeah.
of them.
Oh, I like the one where he's like, I remember you.
I like the I will remember you. Don't let your light.
Yeah, and
Don't. I like the part when it goes, "Don't you forget about
me. Just let me die."
hey, Gabe, would you go as far as to say that Coco was hot?
I remember.
Coco, the lady.
the great grandmother.
Yeah, as in
No.
hot Coco.
What? No. What the? What are you
All right, thanks
doing?
for coming out the podcast.
What?
That's the second time we've been closed out for this podcast.
Yep, we're done.
No, Coco. She. It's like Zelda. Hey, look, there's Coco. No, that's Miguel.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. I was wondering if that'd be an issue, especially for kids. Coco.
Most of the solenoids, most of the guns in the British and American, or the American and German World War II aircraft were electrical.
Duh.
You know what I was hoping for? Is at the end
What?
where when the kid was in front of his Coco, he's like, "Let me just help," and he like dun 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 dun. Coco remembers.
So okay, Coco's been out for a while, so if there's anyone that hasn't seen it and wants to avoid
Oh wait, I've got a
spoilers-
screen for this. I've got a Coco spoiler screen.
Perfect. Let's use
Boom.
it.
All right,
I want to
let's
get
pull
into
it up.
some spoilers for Coco. So for anyone that's
Wait,
watching,
Hero, have you seen it yet?
No,
No, don't worry, I won't-
Hold your
I
ear.
can also speak English, so I understand what they're saying, and we'll.
Spoilers
I
ahoy!
was just wondering if you've seen it yet.
no, but so for those watching live, the screen that we have up right now, that'll be the indicator that we're still talking about spoilers for Coco. Once that comes down, we will not be discussing spoilers anymore for anyone that wants to avoid them. And for anyone watching delayed, I guess you could look out for the same thing too. So just mute us for a second. And then for anyone that's here that doesn't want to, I'll message in case anyone hasn't seen it yet, because there's something I want to talk about that is very spoilery. in
Also,
Coco.
Matt, I have your answer for you about the Spitfire later.
Excellent. I'll wait on bated breath.
Okay, so everyone that's here is ready for spoilers, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
Sure.
All right. I wanted to bring this up, and I think now's the safe time to do it. I had an issue with Coco.
Oh.
Like Sarah and I discussed this.
Yeah.
To me, I know, and I understand, and it's usually okay to me when there's moments of convenience to move the story along. I don't fault movies for that. But I felt like the reveal that this movie had was kind of like, what? Like when Coco's sitting there and all of a sudden has that revelation of a certain line that's spoken in a movie.
You mean Miguel?
Did I say Coco?
Yes, we did.
I was like, what?
Fuck!
It's the
No,
scene
okay.
between Ernesto, Hector, and Miguel.
Okay, Sarah, you might be able to tell this better than I
Yeah.
can.
So, I will elaborate on ACRacebest's issue with this movie. Alright. So, in the scene where it is revealed that Ernesto murdered Hector, or Hector, I don't know how you want to say it. But, like, like, it feels weird. I totally get what Race is talking about, because like Miguel just all of a sudden's like, oh, that thing that you just said was a thing that I heard in a movie, and then they watch like the clip on the screen and like
They turn around and it's like right there, that movie, that exact scene that I'm referring to.
in this
is
scene this
on
guy
TV.
poisons the Ernesto or wherever the fuck, and then like Hector does this whole like algorithm like. And then like he jumps to this conclusion that, oh, you killed me. You poisoned me.
Now here's are you still going?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to go and jump off, that's fine.
Okay, so my issue, like I said, the reveal to me is okay. Like, it's very, very convenient that the movie happens to be up. But what motherfucker in their right mind that murdered somebody is gonna be like,
Make a movie
got
about it. I know.
Great movie scene for you guys that we should.
No, here's the thing.
I mean, it worked for Hamlet.
What,
is that
Paleo?
Ernesto is not an original creator,
Mm-hmm,
so he has to copy everything. So he copied.
Yes.
everything that happened.
Also, since the only person who knew about the poisoning was Hector, he didn't make the movie when he was dead. He didn't know he was going to go to the land of the dead where Hector would be alive, so he wouldn't have anything to worry about in the living world.
Yeah,
Well, except
I still feel like even though like I understand the whole argument and I agree with it that Ernesto was not a creative person in the slightest, and that he took everything that was like in his life and like used it for like his songs and all that stuff. But like even then, I feel like it was a bit of a stretch for Hector to be like, oh, this was in this movie, therefore like you murdered. Like I
bet
yeah,
he always
it's a bit
suspected it.
Maybe.
I like the movie, okay?
I know. I love the
No,
movie.
the thing,
I
like,
love it.
Ernesto didn't even like try to argue that he didn't. Like he was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I
he
know
found
too.
out.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, he did
No,
say
I-
like you're confusing movies for reality or something like that, but that was like the extent of like his argument.
Yeah.
But no, like don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh, it ruined the movie for me. I'm just saying like when I sat back and kind of thought about it, I went, wait, why the hell would he do that? Like I get, and that's a good point, Paleo. I didn't even think about it that far about like, oh, you know, he took everything from
Hector.
something else
Yeah.
that either happened or whatnot. But I feel like that would have been something to omit from a movie. like I don't include this scene with this, you know.
Yeah.
So where did
He was
you
very
get
cocky.
inspiration for this scene? Well, I killed my best friend the same way. Oh, brilliant.
Method acting. Method acting.
Yeah.
So that's something I always wanted to kind of bring up, and I'm glad I did because it kind of I got some more out of that scene. But like I said, I very much enjoyed Coco. It was a great movie. I was just laughing at some of the stuff because you know, with movies, especially when they just come out, a lot of times emotion will have people be like, boom, best movie ever, or oh, I hated that movie so much. Yeah, and then the more you sit on a movie, the more you kind of go, no, you know what, it actually wasn't that bad, or you watch it again, which Sarah and I did. We've seen it twice. So
Yeah, I saw it twice too.
yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring that up though, because it was the one big thing that was bugging me about Coco in regards to like, I guess story wise, is it just I wonder how else they could have done it, but I feel like maybe there was some other way. I'm kind of surprised that no one was able to figure out that he had been poisoned. Like, did they just find his, or like, did he just did?
I don't know. I feel like
There's a
Ernesto
way
may have
Ernesto
just
was
buried
able
him
to
somewhere. I don't know.
You think he just buried him?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know
Maybe because
how
he
long
wasn't-
ago it was, because I don't know. They might not have just bothered. I don't know.
They just left him on the sidewalk.
Well, no, they probably didn't leave him on the sidewalk, but like, probably buried him in a pauper's grave or something like that, and just left it. Just like
since we have it up and we haven't really gotten into spoiler talk about Coco on the show, is there anything else you guys want to discuss spoiler wise?
I thought that when he came out of the land of the dead, he would wake up with like a concussion or a bump on his head, and it was like, oh, he dreamed the whole thing, or did he? They didn't do that.
You know, that's another thing, is I love how they, like, I know that getting him back to the land of the living, or actually, no, I think I did get this answer. This was an issue that I had, Sarah, because remember, we talked about how I was confused. I'm like, wait, so he could literally just go back and forth to the land of the dead. All he has to do is take the guitar?
pretty much, because you should only give to the dead, not take from them. And when Miguel took the guitar, he was cursed and sent to the land of the dead.
So all you have to do is keep taking the guitar if you ever want to go visit your.
But the guitar didn't belong to Bellhead anyway.
Well, it belonged to Hector. So.
Yeah, but it wasn't with Hector.
I don't know.
That's what I mean. He took it from someone who also stole it.
It's a good thing Hector had a picture of himself.
That's still taking a thing. I don't know.
Man,
Hector,
that guitar held tune for a really long time.
Hector was so conceited that he carried a picture of himself around even when he died.
I don't have a picture of my wonderful Coco, but here's me.
I love your impression of
All right, should we get into Q&A here in a bit?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so let me switch screens over, and everybody in the chat, be sure to use the hashtag SPP questions. I'm gonna go put that back into the chat. Oopsie.
Ernesto, that's the one. Thank you, Nora.
I have
Ernesto.
one more thing to say about the Oscars.
Yeah.
So Get Out's nominated for Best Picture, and I think it's the first time a horror movie has been nominated since The Sixth Sense. So
awesome.
So like almost 20 years.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about
Because
that.
like they rarely nominate horror movies or sci-fi movies.
Or comedies.
It has to be drama. It always has to be drama.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Jesus. Yeah. No, that's cool though. Like, good for them. I'll Get Out is another movie I plan on seeing soon. So I look forward
really
to
great.
it.
I like
That's what I've
Sinister.
heard. You like Sinister?
Yeah, that was a good scary movie.
Alright, do Q&A.
Let's
All
see.
right.
Okay, let's see. Aziel. Okay. Asks, which memes you the best in 1939 cartoon and their bears or Ugandan knuckles?
What?
Excuse me?
Okay, so I think what he is asking, which memes do you like the best? The somebody touch my spaghetti or the Ugandan knuckles?
Oh, definitely spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
What the hell is Ugandan Knuckles?
I don't know.
Just look it up. It's a really weird video where people went around
It's
the
Second
really
Second
stumpy
Life.
animated version of Knuckles.
Mhm.
It's in VR chat. It's basically Second Life.
Right.
I like the
Wow, that is sad.
Yeah.
Aziel also
Yeah, they're
asked,
clicking and
did you
wait.
watch the unairied teaser Haunted Mansion animated series?
I did watch
not
it. It's really cute.
Yeah.
I didn't know this existed.
I talked to you about it and then I forgot to show it to you. That was probably one of the things that I like always forget about when we're like at the theater and then I'm like, oh, I need to show you this thing, and then when we get home I forget it.
Me too.
I'll show it to you. But it's like a short little like 30-second teaser that was for a proposed Haunted Mansion cartoon, and it looked awesome. Even though like it's super short, but like it just looks awesome, and like it has like a really cool feel and like really cool idea of like the girl is like coming out of this painting, like she just went on like a pirate adventure or whatever, because there's like a pirate ship in the back, and I'm like, that would be such a cool idea to just like go into these paintings, or they're just
So
like
she went from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride to the Haunted Mansion ride.
But yeah, that unfortunately it has been shelved and probably will be permanently. So bummer.
Speaking of oh god, Twitter. I hear
Speaking of,
myself.
you immediately forgot.
Who am I hearing myself through?
Is it me?
Probably
it's
me. I don't know.
No. It was like
was
radio.
probably
and
Matt.
now it's gone.
It's probably
No,
it's gone.
not me.
Okay, you're the one that doesn't use headphones.
Yeah, but I've been keeping an eye on the Discord thing, and I haven't seen it
it's,
light up once.
it's
Okay.
Laura.
Is it
I
me?
just saw
See?
Okay,
Please.
fine.
Green light.
Fine.
I still blame Matt.
Why would you mess with my settings?
I'm an asshole.
Oh god, Twitter broke. Like my Twitter broke.
Is
Yeah.
that any better?
Sarah, you're gonna have to ask the question.
Okay.
Just turn it upside
So-
down and shake it and reset it.
I just set things to latest, so I'm trying to figure out what my.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
There was one more from
Yeah.
Ozzy,
Okay, I
which
got
is
it.
an interesting one.
Did you know what happened with Toy Story 4 trouble production with a new screenwriter? Could this mean we'll be pushed back or it get canceled?
Grab it.
Scrap it.
Scrap it.
Yeah.
Throw it
And
out.
scrap it and bring back Gigantic. Like, put them on
Yeah.
a Gigantic team.
No, like if they're struggling this much with that movie, just don't do it.
Same
Just
with
don't
Frozen.
do it.
Same with
The last
Frozen.
was so good. I really don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's just
Ratatouille
me.
had a very troubled start. It turned out fine.
Actually didn't have a 3-movie arc that then got a
Yeah.
4th movie. Like,
Good Dinosaur had a troubled arc, and it turned
Yeah,
out
but
fine.
Toy Story was never intended to have a trilogy, and it still did fine.
Yeah, but like the third one seems so final.
It was very bookended.
It
Mhm.
very was,
Yeah.
but
The fourth one, like, this
Oh, we're gonna make a movie about my next adventure child.
So Drummer Shy asks, if you had a beautiful home, where would it be and how will you decorate it?
I
So
want a home
dream
in-
house, location and decoration.
Somewhere affordable.
The art in my house.
what type of art?
Pony art.
Pony art.
Like, there's a lot.
I would decorate my house with literally just figures. So many figures. Oh my god. I already have 26. I ordered the 27th one like 2 days ago.
Aren't you
I
gonna
know.
have, I was gonna say, aren't you gonna have like a bunch of rhythm game setups?
Yeah, I'm about to set up straight up like 4 rhythm games in my house. I know I'm like, oh my god, I'm swimming in figures. I have 26, and Laura's just like. So.
Yeah, well, you probably have like super awesome anime figures. I only have like 2 of those.
I do. I have some nice little.
There you go.
Yeah, and how many Monster Hunter figures you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow, you like
Wow.
that series too much.
I'm really serious about Monster Hunter.
Good. Sarah, where would you want a house?
I don't know. I really was fond of my uncle's old house, which was like a mid-century styled house in Mountain View, California. And I think it was designed by like a well-known architect, but I can't remember the name of that person. But yeah, it was a really nice house, and it had like big windows and spacious living room. And they had like last time I was at my uncle's house, he's recently moved to Arizona, but they had just redone their kitchen and like it was banging. Like they had like this oven microwave thing combo that you just press a button and it'll cook a damn filet mignon.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I've always loved, and I think I would do this if I had a big house. And I think some people in this podcast will appreciate this. I would love to have like train tracks, little toy train tracks that go through the whole thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
That'd be
I don't
cool.
know. Yeah, even though like I can't go through the tunnels. No, I would make a little train that I get stood on, and I kind of like in that movie Little Nemo.
Oh yeah.
This Santa Claus guy had his train.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I wanted one of those. Yeah.
I always wanted a roller coaster to like take me around my house. I always wanted that when I was little.
Like Richie Rich. And your own McDonald's. Or
Yeah.
Burger King.
100% real chicken.
Let's see here.
Anyone else have a dream home, or are we moving on to the next question?
I want a really super expensive, really big home in like California. If I was getting a house for free, then I would sell it and just live off the dividend.
Oh my god, yeah, that's actually a great plan.
That's the best answer.
I want like beachfront property, like a 4-story house mansion, and then I'll just sell it.
Or you could rent it out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Improve it.
Smart. Anyone else? Okay.
Renting homes honestly just our home.
I just want a place that I don't have to rent. That'd be great.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Drummershy also is asking, going back to the commercial thing, did anyone else see the Apple commercial where the girl said, "What's a computer?"
No.
No.
Was that
Not yet.
I'm a computer.
I'm a computer.
Download the downloaded.
I know, I didn't see that one.
All right. Imperfect asking, do you watch any Netflix content? And if so, what's your favorite Netflix original show?
BoJack Horseman.
Oh, Jack,
hard
diddly dang
question.
horseman.
I have a Netflix thing, but I haven't watched anything
I
on
saw Orange
it.
is the New Black and I thought it was gross over the top.
What was
Orange is the New Black? That's really good.
Yeah.
And Peaky Blinders and BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah, Stranger Things.
Top 3.
Orange is the New Black is like really gross, but it's like really well done.
Why is it gross?
What is this? A crossover episode?
Stop. I don't know, like.
Like, is it like gory? Is it?
No, it's just like, hey, we don't like this new girl, so we're just gonna take a bloody tampon and like gift it to her, so when she opens it, she screams. I'm like, that's really disgusting.
Oh, it's a raunchy.
Unnecessary. And they sell their used underwear to creeps.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
That being said, the writing is really
you.
well done. It's a really good show. It's just gross.
It's vulgar.
Oh yeah, another thing that
Right, yeah.
technically isn't really a Netflix series, but it's like a Netflix series in America. Black Mirror.
Oh my god, I love Black
need-
Mirror so much.
I need to watch more of
Racist.
it.
The new season was
That's-
amazing.
That show messes me up.
Which, by the way, Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Get Out, is also in an episode of Black Mirror.
Right.
And yeah,
He is just a good actor.
Yeah, I hope he wins Best Actor because he's really, really good.
Like, look at this dude. He just cry. He can just cry at the drop of a hat. Which I'm sure a lot of like actors can do, but like I don't know. He's like really convincing.
I appreciate that because
Yeah.
I think he was just walking.
someone can
his
do it.
microphone and said that.
Alright,
Gabe?
next question is from Toga Pikachu. Have any of you played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and what are your thoughts on the game? Anyone
I
play it?
haven't yet, but I'll probably pick it up.
I haven't played it.
Nope.
Anyone else?
I was
Okay.
going to.
That's not.
I was going to play it, and then I decided to play Persona 5 instead, so I didn't play it.
Okay. And then we've got Nora Mermaid. My question is for, you know who it is. I don't need to say it. My question is, if you were a merman, what kind of sea creature would you have as your sidekick or companion? And this is for Gabe.
Dolphin or orca. If I
Yay.
were to have somewhere cold.
Yeah.
So probably bottlenose dolphin. Maybe a
Nice.
cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish.
Oh.
Let us, dear friends, think of our dear friends, cuttlefish. Nasty little buggers.
Let's see. Next question is Taylor Bow McCardle.
This was the guy that we met at the movie theater when we saw the MLP movie.
Okay. Since I have never been to BabsCon, what advice can you give me since it's my second pony convention? Oh yeah, we're going to
forgot.
We forgot to
We
talk
forgot
about
to
BabsCon.
talk about
Well, now we are.
BabsCon.
Now we're talking about BabsCon.
Damn. So it was just announced this week. Saber and I are going to BabsCon again. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. What?
We're going.
We're going, and we're gonna have burritos. You know, I don't want to jinx it though. Like I'm always afraid when I get too excited about food that like we'll get to the food.
Be
Or
close.
to yeah. Like a place like that, I hope isn't. But
That place is great.
it really is. But yeah, so BabsCon, we're gonna be there again. Likely doing our goofy panels and having a good time. We're gonna have an interesting lineup for the Who's Line going to BabsCon because we're gonna have kind of a different lineup than usual, but I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have any advice for someone who's going to BabsCon for the first time?
All right, what advice to give?
Like maybe food,
All right. Yes. Good point, Sarah. So food, all you need to know is there's a Mexican restaurant across the street from BabsCon, and it has really good food.
And that's all you need to know. Enjoy the
Kind of food.
There's Mexican food, and there's a 7-Eleven, I think. So if like you ever need to get like any small items or anything like cheap that you forgot to bring, you can probably find it at the 7-Eleven. There's other restaurants that are in the area. I don't recommend eating at the restaurant that's inside of the hotel because on Easter morning, I think the meal's like $95 or something.
Shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, they have like an Easter breakfast or something. Weird.
And but don't get me wrong, people go to this thing. Like there are families
That's
there.
so
They
weird.
dress up for it.
Yeah.
Like they wear their big old Easter hats, and they're like, pass the potatoes.
While they're
It's like-
surrounded with a bunch of bronies, and it's kind of funny actually. Like a bunch of
It's great.
God-fearing Christians are like huddled in the middle of the HM hotel.
I just realized, like, I'm like, oh, that's so weird, and like, I would have shown up in like full My Little
Yeah.
Pony cosplay.
You're like, what a bunch of freaks.
Way to wrap up.
Other than that, with BabsCon, it's a convention. It's a good convention to go to. The staff are on top of it. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding what's going on, when it's going on, where it's going on. So just keep an eye, as with any convention, keep an eye on the schedule. Try to plan ahead with the online schedule so you kind of have an idea of panels that you do not want to miss, like Who's Line and Bronies React, and probably How to YouTube.
Who's doing those panels?
I don't know, but they're always good. That was conceited. But yeah, no, that's usually the advice that that I give. Saber, is there anything you'd add with convention going?
So I was eating some food over in the corner.
What?
Wow.
That was exciting. What?
Have fun.
Okay, thank you, Saberspark, for your input. The next question is from Nora Mermaid. She says, "Here's
with a mouth full of like pie."
Here's my question." All right, so Nora Mermaid has a question for everyone: cake or pie?
Pie.
Pie.
Depends on the
Not
cake.
even
Depends on the pie.
But overall, I love more pie than cake, and if I were given the option
Yeah.
of any cake or any pie, I would pick a pie.
Yeah.
Does pizza pie count?
Yeah, sure.
In that case, definitely pie.
I like
I mean, New Yorkers
apple
call it a pie.
rhubarb pie, I like cherry pie, I like so much pie.
Cream pie.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
This is a debate on whether or not cheesecake is classified as a cake or a pie. I'm kind of on the pie side of the debate.
Well, it's called cheesecake.
I like cheesecake.
It is called cheesecake,
Which is
but
actually
cookies are called
pie.
cookies, and you don't cook them.
All
right.
Yeah.
I have a story. I have a legit story
Wait,
that
what's
I
the
need
difference
to
between
tell.
cooking and baking?
Really?
I don't know.
Like, is there a difference?
Cooking.
Is there?
I thought cooking was like the umbrella term.
No, baking's a specialized.
No,
Right, let me Google this.
And also fairly.
no, I actually know the answer to this.
Okay.
Baking's like a type of cooking. I don't know.
Typically, bread stuff where you put something into an oven.
Yeah.
Cooking can be to cook a
Anything.
fish, to cook, but you would say bake, a hot dog. Cook a hot dog. But you
You don't-
definitely bake a cake or bake a loaf of bread. There's
Right.
like an oven involved. It's usually proved.
Isn't it baking a pie that has to like rise or something?
Like
Proven, yeah, sometimes, but not always. You can still bake leavened bread.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't
I-
bake chicken Alfredo. Like no one's baking that.
Yeah, but
But you can't bake
here's
a
the thing though. It says like cooking or cookery.
Cookery.
What is this,
You
Tom?
don't cook
Cookery.
bacon, you cook bacon.
is the art, technology, and science and craft of preparing food for consumption with or without the use of heat. So basically, that encompasses everything.
Yeah. Wait.
Right, no,
Wait.
but
I'm gonna
baking's
cook
like-
myself
I'm reading a thing.
a
Okay.
pickle.
Read the thing.
Okay. So this is like a little article. The difference between cooking and baking, and I'm gonna take this little excerpt. Cooking tends to be free-form and open to interpretation and improvisation. Baking, on the other hand, is rigidly precise, demanding not just a cup of flour, but 1 cup and 1 tablespoon of sifted white flour, for example. So, like, I guess, like, yeah, baking definitely is something that has to be, like, really super precise, because you could, if you get too much flour or get too much sugar, then it just all turns to shit.
Okay.
I want a Great British Cooking Show.
Okay, cooking then seems more like an art. Baking is more like science.
Correct.
Okay, but then cooking.
I don't know.
But then that means cooking is like everything else. It's like frying, roasting, steaming, smoking, whatever. Then that means it's everything else.
Throbbing, penetrating.
Move on.
Okay, wait. I got a story for you guys, and this is a story that I almost can't believe is real, but it is. So, after I cover racing on a Saturday night, since it usually goes through dinner time, Tommy and I of Low Budget TV, we don't usually eat. Like, we'll eat before the event, and then we'll eat after. And when we cover an event out in Bakersfield, which we do about 50% of the shows we cover are in Bakersfield. Bakersfield. Not cookers. Anyway,
Jesus, no.
so we go to this restaurant a lot called Iron Skillet, and it's a truck stop restaurant. I don't know if they're across the country or whatnot, but they're 24-hour. You go in, like I said, it's a truck stop, so they have showers, they have like a little like shopping center, they have a bunch of stuff. And this one night we went in to get dinner. It was probably 2 a.m, and our waiter, a guy that we've never seen before, comes on up, and he, introduces himself and says, here are the menus and whatnot. And it's weird because he acknowledged, he's like, and by the way, we got desserts right here. And I'm like, oh, and on it says there's a cream pie. To which I'm like, hey, look, Tommy, they have cream pie. And I said it kind of as like, he probably got like where I was going with it, but not where anybody in the restaurant would be like, oh my God, that's what he means. Except then the waiter goes, cream pie. I had a folder called cream pie on my laptop, but my girlfriend thought it was crimpy.
What?
And I just kind of glanced at
what
Tommy,
kind of word
like,
is crimpy?
Well, what? I glanced at Tommy like, is this waiter really having this conversation with us right now? Like, we're just straight up talking about cream pies.
Yeah.
And it got like, the more we talked to this guy, like, the weirder it got. Like, he was way too like open with us. Like, yo, guys, check out this cool information. And I was like, this is not what I would need to know while I'm trying to eat my mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Like, the guy just out of nowhere, literally just started talking to us about cream pies as we're trying to order our food. I'm like, this crap happens to Tommy and I all the time. Like, I don't know if it's just the places we go or what, but whenever he and I are together, there's always weird fucking things that happen. And yeah, this guy told us about his cream pie folder and crimpies.
Nice.
So there you go. So weird.
Good talk.
I wanted you all to know.
Reckless asks, do you have a collection that can be MLP or primarily outside MLP, other shows and fan bases? And if so, what is your favorite item in that collection? Like, what is your most prized possession? So do you collect things?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
What?
Shot glasses. I just bought you one.
Oh my God. I really didn't think you were going to say anything except Zootopia, and you actually caught me up.
Okay, well, I guess Zootopia does count as a collection, but yeah, okay, fine. I used to collect snow globes, and I have a lot of snow globes at my parents' house, but I haven't had any room to put snow globes.
You also have a small collection of figurines.
Yeah.
Or would you not really consider that like a amassed collection?
I probably wouldn't. Yeah.
She would, but she's also very picky. She's like, it needs to be perfect.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I need to get those Fraggle Rock pops.
The problem is I can't pick a favorite from the Zootopia collection.
Yeah.
All your favorite.
I love all of it. Yeah, I just got something. It was the thing that I discussed. I'm gonna post a picture probably tomorrow of it. But this really awesome figurine, and it's sold on. Oh man, there's so many cool things I have. But the figurine is sold on shopdisney.com this week. But then I have like the Japanese stuff, and then the stuff that people gifted. That's all cool. And then the shot glasses. Sarah helps me out with that.
Yeah.
I don't drink, but I collect shot
I love
glasses.
that you have a collection of shot glasses yet you don't drink.
Yeah. No, I just bought him. I bought him one when I was on my trip at Oklahoma, and I bought him a one that had Bigfoot on it, because we were in a town where Bigfoot is apparently.
Is that where the collection started?
No.
And then we saw the trailer for Smallfoot.
Oh my god. We both thought it was the trailer for the new Grinch movie, but man, it threw us for a loop. Have you all seen that trailer?
Yeah. I've not even heard of it.
Okay, it was weird. Okay, next question.
I think Smallfoot.
What about the rest of us?
Oh yes,
we
sorry.
don't matter.
Sorry, fine, sorry.
Next question.
Go for it, Paleo.
I collect video games.
Nice.
Yeah,
What's
you
your favorite
do.
in there?
Isn't your goal to have like all the Nintendo games or something?
All the Nintendo published titles.
How close are you?
There's around like 700 of them, and I have like a fifth of them. So, like, it's not unachievable. It's just that some titles are going to be a lot more expensive than others.
Yeah.
Or if I just happen to come across them somehow. But probably one of my favorite things in my collection is my box copy of a Chrono Trigger.
Nice.
Which that's not a Nintendo published game, but it's great.
I don't know that I necessarily collect anything just for the sake of having it, but I have a nice collection of vinyl records that I enjoy, and
oh yeah, me and my dad collect those.
Oddly enough, beer glasses from breweries that I've been to, and coffee cups from law schools that I've been to.
Dude,
whether as an invited
sentence ever said on this podcast.
What was that?
That was so classy. That was the classiest sentence ever uttered on this podcast.
Is his internet bugging up for everyone else?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I still got what he said, but yeah.
The way though that like, so Gabe, your voice is coming through a little weird, but it's funny because it's like coming through on inflections. So it's like, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, here's the worst part. We can't be sure if that's a joke or not.
That was a joke this time.
Saber, Laura, do you guys collect anything?
Not really.
I have a lot of My Little Pony plushies.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, anyone else?
I collect
Saber
Nintendo
collects
games,
Yeah.
of which my most prized one, I guess, is having Earthbound. My favorite is Donkey Kong Country 2, though, and they don't really coincide.
Yeah, I still want Earthbound. I don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, what were you saying that Saber collects?
Laura?
Insurance.
What?
What?
Yeah. What?
Insurance?
That's what I
That's
heard.
what I heard.
Yeah, I collect insurance. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the poor box.
That's the poor box.
I guess I'd be collecting taxes, not insurance, but I won't call myself out.
Steal from the poor to feed the rich.
Okay. Next question is from Ross Pitt. Gabe, would you consider snowboarding off a cliff and into a freezing lake below that's infested by hungry polar bear sharks?
Polar bear sharks?
Yes.
Is it like an avatar animal? What?
Well, this is an obvious yes from Gabe. I mean, why would he not consider
No,
that?
they're just polar bears
I
that
would.
they put a shark fins on.
I would have to know that I had a chance against the polar sharks.
Not that you need to guarantee, just a chance.
Yeah, a chance. Like, has anyone survived this before? If the answer was no, actually, it'd probably be more tempting. But I don't know. I'd consider it. I just polar bear shark look like.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
why is it laughing?
Because your internet's still bad.
Dang it.
What is it laughing?
Okay, I'm gonna like close this.
Okay.
Here, Ozzy also asked, in regards to our thoughts on the Razzies, the nominated Razzies. Does anyone know about those?
Oh yeah. The emoji movie
Leo.
has like 4 nominations.
Only?
Good for it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
That is. Was that it?
I love that even the Razzies aren't taking it seriously enough to really wreck it.
Wreck-It Razzies?
Wreck it, Razzies.
You know, I gotta say, they need to change the name of the new Wreck-It Ralph movie before it comes out.
Why is that?
Because it's called Ralph Breaks the Internet. It should be Ralph Wrecks the Internet.
Yeah.
Like, why use breaks?
It's Ralph's fault that net neutrality isn't around.
Damn it, Ralph.
Repair It Felix comes along.
Alright, I think this is going to be the last question for the night, but IZL asks, to Saber and Paleo, I don't know if you know this, but did you know that your former Pony Network Everfree Network was shut down 3 years ago?
What, like to this day?
I guess so.
I thought he meant just.
I don't know. I kind of hope he's just like, in general, like, oh, did you know that this shut down 3 years ago?
Yeah, I know it's like.
I don't know
not
if
been
it's
a
to
thing
this
for a
day.
while.
Yeah.
Which one was it first? Was it Everfree Network or Everfree?
It was never Everfree Radio first.
Yeah, that's the one I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember it calling network.
Yeah, they changed it like pretty soon after a while. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Draft
think
always
Everfree
corrected
Radio
me.
maintained as a component of the network, though.
I do have an ending question here.
Oh, okay.
They didn't use the hashtag, but I just happened to see it.
Okay.
So remember, guys,
Use the hashtag.
Jazz King post here. What are all of y'all's favorite pizza?
Gluten-free and dairy-free pizza. I'll take what I can get.
Free. It's like that is my favorite flavor.
I like, I only recently started like eating there in the last few years, but I like Pieology. I love that you can just like Subway it and choose whatever you feel like that day.
Subway.
Oh, I thought you meant like what toppings do you like on your pizza, not like the where it's from. Okay.
Well, it was both where from and what.
Where from and what? Okay.
Yeah.
It can be homemade. Some place in New York. And...
Oh, wait, I lied. I didn't even think about Chicago. Oh.
Yeah.
A good deep.
The Chicago deep dish was really good. Yeah.
Oh, that was.
But also, I really like stuffed crust pizza.
So do I.
It should be like the standard. It's so good.
I love Meat Lover's stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like cheese pizza.
What? You're like that kid on Home Alone.
Am I?
Yeah, large cheese
It's
pizza.
good. Like I want to taste the pizza. I don't want to taste all the stuff you throw on it. I want the pizza, the essence of the pizza.
Oh, I couldn't. I only eat cheese pizza if it's the last thing left.
Good. That means if we like split a pizza, that means you won't take any of my cheese slices.
I lied, Hero.
Did you? Okay.
I did. If someone puts vegetables on their pizza, then I stay away.
No,
That's-
legit.
Yeah, I only put meat on my pizza.
That should be illegal.
It's so frustrating because like whenever people are like, "Hey, what pizza do you want?" People are like, "Yeah, get the sausage, get the pepperoni, get the whatever, mushrooms," and I'm like, "Just get me cheese." And they're like, "Okay, you can have your half of this pizza, sure." And then everyone, when they want to get pizza, they get their slice, and then they always take one of my cheese slices. I'm like, "Why didn't you get cheese if you wanted the cheese?" It's so frustrating.
Punctuated that even.
Saber, what kind of pizza is your favorite pizza?
Oh, just meat. You put all the meat on there.
Yeah.
Where from? Do you have a type of pizza that you love?
I mean, like, local places are always better than Pizza Hut and Domino's and things like that. I mean, if I had to pick out of the big brands, I'd pick Domino's. If I had to pick, like, I mean, there's a place called Benny's around here that's pretty good, and then
Is that the place with the giant pizza?
Yeah.
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 Whatever pizza is closest.
I mean, I don't think I've ever actually had excellent pizza before.
What about in Chicago?
That's different. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I wouldn't even like qualify that as
It's closer to lasagna than it is pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
I completely agree. It's more lasagna than pizza.
Yeah, but there's no pasta on it though.
No, I know that. I'm just saying.
You get my meaning though. Like, thank you, Race, for being good. Unlike Taylor's always criticizing.
I got you.
Thank you, Daddy. But no, I mean, like, deep dish is like great, but it's like it's a pie basically. If I had actually had like a real legit pizza, I'm gonna go up to New York and get a slice with Matt. That's what I'm gonna do. Not PanamaMatt. Sucks. I mean,
wow, you were just talking about how paleo is mean. And
no, Paleo is criticized. Saber's just an asshole.
Wow!
Oh, court.
Matt.
Well, guys, with that, should we end the podcast on that cheery note?
Yeah.
Well, a big thanks to all the podcasters. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Thank you to
Happy to
our live audience. That we're gonna have San Antonio skillet, homemade.
Actually, can I say one really quick thing? Before
Do
we
it,
close out the podcast?
please.
In the picture for the podcast on the stream, Grace, your pony's so cute. He's just like, "Oh, thanks for tuning in, guys." He's so adorable. I never noticed.
I'm looking
now I
at
have to look at it.
I'm just so thankful to have my group of friends. That's what I am.
And I look grumpy and distant like always.
But yeah, I wanna thank everyone again for coming out. Gabe, thank you for being here. Hirosashii, Paleo, Lashonda, Saber, Laura, who I think has already gone, Matt, and Sarah.
Fuck you.
Someone do that. Someone draw Sarah and Lashonda.
Oh man.
That's your art challenge for the week, guys. It's like draw Sarah with Lashonda. We'll post the results.
There we go. All right, so we'll post the results. They can be made in MS Paint or done really nice.
But it has to be Pony OC.
Oh, okay. Pony OC, Sarah, and Lashonda.
Yeah, and just to make sure this isn't like, you know, like make it fun. Don't make it like weird.
Yeah.
I think it already is, Saber. I think it already is.
All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you all again for joining us here live, and for everyone that's watching delayed, thank you so much. Again, this is Semi-Perfect Podcast signing out. We will be back in 2 weeks. That will be February 7th of 2018. And yeah, so have a good rest of your guys' Januaries and a good start to your Februaries. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.
And for the record, salami is the best pizza topping.
Whoa.
Oh, it is pretty good.